Right, gives me great pleasure to welcome two very close friends and partners of GCV. You know them all. They're great supporters of our events, and as I said, it gives me great pleasure to welcome both Nicola and Chiaki from TDK Ventures to look at CVC 3.0. Nicola.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chiaki.
We do the 45.
Yes,
Okay.
that we learned from recent.
We just had a teaching about 45 degrees is perfect. So.
Yes. So, hello everyone. My name is Chiaki Yoshikawa. I'm startup liaison at TDK Ventures. Let me introduce Nicola Savage, president of TDK Ventures. 皆さんこんにちは。TDK Ventures の吉川千秋と申します。こちらがプレジデントのニコラ・サバージです。We are here to talk about new structure of corporate venture capital. Perhaps it's for us to think about corporate venture capital 3.0.
Thank you, Jackie. So it's obvious to everyone in the room, but we have an unprecedented responsibility as corporate venturing to help entrepreneurs. 2023 has been extremely tough for entrepreneurs and for venture capital. And we feel, and I'm sure many of you feel the same, we have an opportunity to shine when most of the financial VCs are retracting. And that's what we want to talk about today. And we have this concept, and this is an open question to the community about is there a model that we should promote? The challenge when we number CVC 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, it implies that 3.0 is better than 2.0, which is better than 1.0. Actually, all have pros and cons. I just want to open the question about breaking the false choice that has been imposed on us about being strategic or financial. And we've heard in the panel these questions keep coming back. CVC 1.0 is really about the one we've known for a long time, which is very, very strategic, not necessarily looking for financial gain from the investment, but creating this strategic bond. And there's a lot of advantage to it. When you invest, you know there will be synergies, you know there will be value brought to the entrepreneurs. But sometimes it feels like a very painful hook, and you're stuck with that. CVC 2.0 is this more granular view, which is you can actually have this continuum between strategic and financial, and you can actually discuss it with your management and the mothership. We want to pose a question about CVC 3.0, where maybe we can decide that it's not about being strategic or financial, but it's actually valuable to try to be both. And this is why you see this analogy of raising both as much as you can. And this also allows for more sustainability. And if you listen to Tencent earlier, I don't think anyone mind this bad or this good problem of having $16 billion financial gain returned to the shareholder. But also the strategic value was there. So this new model is really about the realization that corporate venturing is growing. I think Jim yesterday talked about this 5x from 10 years ago and expecting 10x in the next 10 years. And maybe if we are off by 2x, maybe 5x, maybe 20x, there's definitively an opportunity to do better for entrepreneurs. And 2023, probably part of 2024, will all continue to be very difficult for entrepreneurs with limited capital. How do we make sure that startups do better, entrepreneurs do better? And there's clear advantages from corporate venturing done well in terms of helping entrepreneurs be better at scaling with more risk, with less risk, and faster. And we like to call the entrepreneurs at TDK Ventures the impact scalers. Why? Because they can contribute positive impact to the world and scale it. And in a way, all of us in corporate venturing are behind these entrepreneurs, also as impact scalers, trying to help them to scale and to have more positive impact. And that's what we call impact scaler squared. And there's a lot of advantage to it, not just the support to entrepreneurs, but also bringing the superpower that come from our mothership. And that superpower is how you make entrepreneurs more successful. This is compliments to GCV. The next 3 slides are actually quite worth sharing. One is that when startups receive backing from CVCs, they're more likely to survive. If we think about the worst outcome possible is startups running out of money, not delivering on their promise. I want to repeat, CVC-backed startups are more likely to survive. The other one, which is of course the strategic value and the engagement, many of the startups engage with the mothership of the CVC. I'm actually not sure how we would answer this question because it's percentage of investments to business unit sponsorship / commercial deals. 0% of our investments need championship. And yet, as you will see later in the slides, 100% of our portfolio companies engage with TDK. And maybe this is kind of what I'm wondering is, this CVC 3.0, if done well, you can have all the financial plus all the strategic. You don't necessarily need a championship to create high-value, equal-win engagements. The last one is maybe the most telling, which is we talked about the worst case of startups failing. But the best case is when they actually have a positive exit. And here, again, compliments to GCV. CVC-backed startups get higher valuation at exit. Clearly, there is some value that has been added already. And we should really ponder about how we can make this even more distinct. We shared very recently, in partnership with 6 Pages, a very interesting report about corporate venturing. And this is free for you to download. So please don't hesitate to download it. There's a lot of statistics. But one of the things that is shared is a macroeconomic of VC landscape. VC are retracting right now. The dry powder that everyone talked about, not so sure it's actually available. But corporate VCs have proven to be good and to be sustained. And even the bad stories we heard from the past was actually not substantiated by the facts. So I would recommend you to check out this report. And this divergence of CVC and VC behavior is probably our moment to shine. This is really where we can show that we are more patient capital and we really believe in the positive impact these entrepreneurs bring. And what that means is we can prove our resilience. And that matters a lot for an industry that, as Jim mentioned yesterday, could be 10x in 10 years. We want to prove ourselves to be the right partner for entrepreneurs with that superpower coming from the mothership. And so with this, maybe Jackie, you can share a little background about TDK Ventures?
This photo was taken the last time we were all in together in San Jose headquarters. And unfortunately, I am way up on the stairs, so unfortunately, maybe you cannot recognize me, but I'm fully committed this year. I will squeeze in the front line.
Maybe we'll make sure she's the first one on the front.
Yes, definitely. So before talking about TDK Ventures, about TDK, so TDK has been changing their main core business over time and extending the business, always looking for what is next. You may know about a cassette tape, and then doesn't exist. Maybe you don't look, you don't see that anymore. But before cassette tape is ending, they started to think about maybe what is the next business. Then now battery is one of our main business, and the sensors. Then now, what is the next phase? TDK Ventures, our vision is looking at the new market TDK recognized as a focused area and understanding the market needs, market pain point, then for TDK to look at what kind of product TDK can develop, what kind of product TDK should develop. To associate with a TDK core business and also a focus market, TDK Ventures invest in quite large areas. So this is we have been recognized as a powerlist for 4 years by GCV. We see this is a sign that the model we have adopted is good for industry. So thank you, GCV.
Thank you.
So Nicola will share about our journey at TDK Ventures.
Thank you. So maybe some facts first. We started in 2019, 32 portfolio companies to date across 2 funds, but we have a third fund we have started this year. A total of $350 million asset under management, and that is through Fund 1, which was $50 million, started at 2019. Another Fund 2, which was $150 million, and you can see the year under each is a deployment time. Both of them have 50% reserve, so we will continue to follow investments beyond that period of deploying for developing the portfolio. Fund EX1 is the one we launched this year, also $150 million, but this one is interesting because it's multi-LP. One LP is TDK, and one LP is one other TDK group company called ATL, which is a market leader for battery for consumer products. And we believe that this extra LP power or superpower will help entrepreneurs be more successful when we help them and we support them. We've been blessed with good success so far, including 1 IPO, 3 M&A, and already 2 unicorns. One of the unicorns is actually quite interesting, and this touch on the superpower. It's Ascend Elements, which is doing battery recycling. And when we saw them, there were only 10 people. And they had tried to meet with all the financial VCs, and none of them wanted to invest. None of them. And the reason is they were making claims that everyone believed was too good to be true. But we had a superpower. We could send the samples back to TDK group companies and ask them, please validate the claims. And they came back with, it's true. They really can recycle and upcycle. At that point, we knew we should invest. And we invested. We built more investors with us. And last year, they raised $480 million of non-dilutive funding from DOE. And this year, they raised more than $500 million at $1 billion pre-money valuation. So you can imagine the value of corporate VCs when you have that superpower you can bring, not just to identify the right projects, but actually to support them to become more successful. I also want to share about our code of conduct, which drives everything we do at TDK Ventures. And the first one is contribution to society, which is 100% resonating and aligned with TDK. It's all about contribution to society. And it touches how we work with entrepreneurs, how we decide to invest, what type of investments we make, how we support them. The second one is one team reaching for the sky. And this is really about making sure that we all work together, but we try to raise the standards for ourselves individually, for ourselves as a team, and hopefully maybe today a little bit raising the industry standards by just asking the right questions and maybe showing some best practices. The third one is so important. This is what we call delivering deep insights, our raison d'être for TDK Ventures.
In Japanese, we can say sonzai-igi.
Sonzai-igi. Or if I don't use the French raison d'être, it's a reason of being. And this is really why we started TDK Ventures, is that exploration mission. How do we learn about new places with new market, new use case, new applications, new technology, which could disrupt our mothership, and make sure that we understand this very deeply with good insights from first principles, and be able to help TDK to know where to go and where not to go. And the last one, but it's also extremely important, is entrepreneurs first. We see the entrepreneurs as our customers. We want to delight them. Every year we send them a Net Promoter Score, NPS survey, asking how we are doing. And the first question is an NPS question you've seen before, but with a twist. From 1 never to 10 absolutely, how likely would you recommend TDK Ventures to another entrepreneur? Okay, this is from an entrepreneur to an entrepreneur. It's a very high bar. The second question is, what did we do well for you? And that helps us to know what to double down. And the third question, and it's only 3 questions, is what can we do better for you? And that's where we get a lot of feedback, which then shape how we scale our team and what functions we create. So I want to talk about TDK goodness. And this is maybe fundamental in one way. we all want to add value to our portfolio companies and to the ecosystem, investors, and our mothership. But the way we count our TDK goodness, and we have a big database, is that it only counts when it's validated by the recipient, when the entrepreneurs validate this was useful for them. When Chiaki helps the entrepreneurs, she can only enter in the database of TDK goodness when they say, wow, thank you, that really helped me, or that was good advice, or that helped me to know where to go and where not to go, or which teams to engage with. You will see we have 3 different teams. The investment team have 2 functions. Of course, the investment side and doing deep explorations, but actually half of their time is to consolidate this knowledge and share back inside TDK. And they've produced more than 70 TDK Ventures briefings with a lot of insights. No confidential information from startups, but a lot of the landscaping that is needed for TDK to know what to do and not to do. We have an engagement team, which Chiaki is part of, which is all about helping the startups we don't invest in, as well as our portfolio companies, the startups we invested in, to engage with the right TDK teams. And you will see in the next slide, it's quite impressive. And the last one is a scaling team, which is all about helping our portfolio companies be more successful, more quickly, with less risk. And you could say it's selfish. If we do that well, our investments will do better, the engagements will do better, TDK will learn better. It's also about entrepreneurs first.
So we would like to portfolio company to scale, and we receive good feedback from our portfolio companies. One from Analog Influence, one from Starship. So I would like to take a moment for you to read what they would like to talk about working with TDK Ventures. So we believe that entrepreneurs would like to work with the investors who can add value to them. We measure our impact by number. We talked about TDK goodness, which is a TDK kind in Japanese. So we measure the time we served to entrepreneurs, 2,000. We also measure engagement. So bottom right chart is we call engagement checkboard. That chart is showing the collaboration depths and which kind of department with a portfolio company has engaged. Vertical axis is our portfolio companies, and horizontal axis is a TDK business group and the subsidiaries. So that's showing the depths. Green is a best deep engagement. So Nicola, would you like to share why we created this engagement checkerboard?
Yeah, this is a funny story. So we had nearly 100 engagements between portfolio companies and engagement team, and our CFO Yamanishi-san said, Nicola, I can't check your 100 slides. Please consolidate this into a single slide. It took me a week to think about how do I show 100 engagements with enough information it's useful into one slide. And for those who were in Tokyo last year, you know about it, but this is a checkerboard which shows whether, depending on the color, whether it's an evaluation, a successful evaluation, a design in, which means that one side uses a product of the other in a design, or design win where it's deployed. What we've added since we met in Tokyo is we also indicate when an engagement is paused or stopped, which is very healthy. It means we are really trying new things, and sometimes the conclusion is to stop, and that's totally fine. And so we have 11 projects stopped and 14 design win. And that's actually the good numbers to see the end of the process. Either stop or it gets deployed into the market.
To give you an example, this is an impact for engagement between our portfolio companies and the TDK groups, and battery and ATL. This engagement potentially makes battery industry cleaner. So AM Battery has a clean dry coating technology, and ATL is a world-leading lithium-ion battery companies. They are developing together to reduce energy consumption from a battery process.
Thank you, Chiaki. And this is just a quick feedback from 2 of our portfolio companies we chose because they're unicorns. And here they are talking about setting a new standards. and really appreciated the support and the collaborations with TDK. That really matters. It shows these very successful companies still very much appreciate the value we have brought to them. And so just as an ending thought is it time for us to think about a new model, CVC 3.0, where you don't have to compromise, or you don't have to think you have to choose between being a little more financial or a little more strategic, but being very disciplined. You only go when you have both financial and strategic. And this, I think, comes across very clearly and very quickly as much better support to entrepreneurs. And of course, being able to leverage fully the mothership superpower. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
I don't know if we have time for questions, so I will ask Charlie.
Any questions? Anyone? Eager to get to lunch, I think.
Yes, lunch is a
Thank you,
challenge,
Thank
right?
you, Chiaki. Another round of applause.
Thank you.
you.